Sure. So to explain NCC Education, so we originally were set up in 1966, and the view of the company was really, it was a government body which was aimed at improving the computing skills of the UK population. So NCC actually stands for National Computing Centre. Since then, we've developed into an awarding body. We offer diplomas in business and computing mainly, going from first year degree all the way to postgraduate. And also we offer an international foundation diploma, which we launched quite a number of years ago now. And the whole purpose of the IFD is to help students who have graduated from high school in their home countries to get into a UK or overseas university. And we work with a number of partners around the world. We're actually involved in over 50 countries and have, I don't know the exact figures, but many students graduating with diplomas of ours every single year. I mentioned earlier, the IFD is for students who have finished their secondary school education. Okay, so, and the qualification actually acts as a bridge between their secondary school education to the first year of a degree. In many situations, the UK universities do not accept overseas secondary education as an entry requirement. So it's ideal for students, as you pointed out on your advertisement, who have an O-level background or have gone through a matriculation in Pakistan. So it does this in many different ways. So the first one is linguistically. Overseas universities, they have an English language requirement, and this is typically IELTS 6. For higher ranking universities, it can be 6.5. Is a large element of English language learning on the program to get students from the entry requirement, which is IELTS 4.5, up to IELTS 6. The second way it does this is really to help them with the study skills which they need. So, of course, the study system's different around the world, but this is preparing them to study in a UK university. So a lot of it is focused on how to study independently, how to research for their assignments, etc. Of course, moving abroad is a big challenge. I've lived in different countries where even the simplest things, such as paying your bills, going shopping, they're all very different. Qualification has 8 different units. So all students will have to pass 8 units to obtain the qualification. 6 of these are core units. So 2 units are English language based, and then we have English for academic purposes, study and communication skills, culture studies, and foundation. And then students will have to choose 2 electives. And this is usually done in streams, which is based on their area of interest and what they will go on to study at university. So the electives are based in business studies, computing, engineering, health science, higher finance, and also chemical engineering. The 2 English language units, they're weighted at 50 credits, which is nearly half of the program. And really, this is because they carry a lot of hours towards that. Say it links to the other units on the course. So you'll find with the elective units, they are actually scheduled for later in the course because the English language required for them is a lot higher. Build their vocabulary and grammar structures in those units, they are expected to apply those at a greater degree in the English for academic purposes unit, because they are expected to They are taught and expected to be able to structure essays, longer form essays that, of course, they're going to be expected to write at university. So it helps them and prepares them. Students need to get used to the fact that when they go to university, they're not going to have a lot of face-to-face time with lecturers. I'm going back to my experience at UK universities where maybe I had 12 hours a week of teaching time. And then the rest of that time was, the expectation was for me to research on my own and do wider reading. And these are the skills that you will learn in the Studying Communication Skills unit. And of course, the electives themselves, they are going to help you build a foundation in your chosen area, whether that be business, and you will be introduced to concepts such as marketing, the different types of businesses, also economics and accounting, or if it's computing, where you will get a foundation in programming. It's also that can be then built on at university. So we have, first of all, we have an exam session in spring, which will cover February and March. And then we have summer in May and June, autumn cycle, which we're actually in right now in August, and then later in early September. And then we have a winter cycle, which is in November. Typically, if you're taking the foundation diploma, you're going to start in the academic year in September, and your first assessments are going to be in spring, and then you will finish assessments in summer. For students who maybe don't pass, we have the autumn cycle, which enables them to resit and still get entrance to university at a later date. Really, when we choose the assessments, it is all dependent on what we expect the students to be able to show by the end of that unit. So if we feel that that is best assessed through an exam, then that is why we schedule exams. Whereas for other units that you mentioned for academic writing, they have to, the expectation, the learning outcome is that they produce an essay, and that is best assessed through coursework assignment. But another reason we have such a blend is that we want to expose students to all of the different assessment methodology that could come up at university. Progression arrangements with universities which are situated in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Canada, and also other countries now, such as Malaysia, Uzbekistan, etc. So we talk to universities a lot to arrange these progression details, and we actually have a booklet which outlines all of the written arrangements that we have. So this booklet will display the university's requirements from the student. So let's say, for example, they want the student to get a 60% overall in the foundation diploma and pass them in the business units. And they will list that as an entry requirement. And then they will also provide a list of courses which they can get onto. And we have progression arrangements with over 70 universities now. And it's growing all the time as we learn from our centres where their students want to progress to. And that's why we're opening up in more and more countries, because historically it was just the UK, but now we're finding that students want to go to different countries or even progress within the country that they're in already. And that's why we're reaching out to more and more of these universities. But that should not be seen as a limiting factor, because I know from visiting centres and talking to students, many of them have progressed to universities that are not in this booklet. And I would encourage students to write to the international office of any university they're interested in, whether it be on our progression booklet or not, and give them the details of the course that they're doing, and tell them which courses that they are interested in. And then their application will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. And the university will give them an offer based on what they feel is appropriate.